Hello everyone, welcome, happy Valentine's Day. I hope that you can take some time today to really just like shower yourself with some love. I know lots of people hate Valentine's Day because it's so commercialized. Like, welcome to every single holiday that we have here in North America anyways, because this is the system we live in. And I gotta say, out of all of the holidays, like, love is something to really celebrate. I love it. But we're gonna take some time today to just do a little bit of self-tending. I think that this is so important. And some fun news. I got a new webcam for Valentine's Day for my husband, so the picture doesn't look like garbage anymore, so that's kind of cool. I'm just going to give a little bit of time for some people to show up if they want to show up. And we're going to start with the meditation today. So, as per usual, it's time to just get comfortable. Do whatever you need to do. If you gotta go some water, if you gotta like move your body a little bit, do whatever feels good. We're just taking a minute to settle down into our bodies right now. Taking some time to reconnect to our bodies. Remember that we are living in these little temples. And it's important to drop in and remember that we're, embodied creatures. It's just good to settle into the body because there's so much wisdom there, right? I've talked about that in past ones, but do whatever you need to do so that you're comfortable. Move however feels good to you. Take some deep breaths. Maybe make some noises. Get loose. Get silly. Shake your stuff out. Shake out any sort of thoughts that want to badger you at this moment. There'll be time for that when we're all done this, right? It's not going to take that long. So just bop them away like little balloons if they start to bother you. Whenever you are comfortable, I want you to take a seat. Take some deep breaths and close your eyes. And I want you to look out into the darkness and see if you can just really settle into that space in the darkness behind your eyes. Take some more deep breaths. Look around, see if you can feel the sort of largeness of this dark space. And as you look through this sort of dark cave, start to go on a little bit of a wander. Somewhere around here, there is a door. You know where the door is. So just slowly start to head towards that door. And what's it like in this little cave of your own darkness? Do you feel anything? Can you smell anything? Can you hear anything as you make your way to this little door? When you find the door, you step through it and you see that it's an entrance out to a little forest. And as you step out, you can feel the trees. You can feel their energy holding you. You can feel the crispness of the air. You can smell the leaves. You can feel the breeze on your skin. and the forest floor beneath your bare feet. As you walk along, you find this like super lush little clearing. You sit down in this grass, and as you look up to the sky, what do you see? You see a bright sun beaming light down on your face, or perhaps it's total darkness and you see the stars up above you. But when you sit here in this little sanctuary inside of yourself, you know that you're held, you know that you are safe. So you just sit down on the ground and you feel the earth beneath you. You feel the web of life all around you. And you feel the deep sort of humming energy of the earth below you. Just take some big deep breaths and smell that forest air. Really feel into that safety, that feeling of being held. Do any messengers come to see you? Look around, is there any creatures? Today, I would like to ask you, in this safe place, in this place where you are so held, I would like you to take a moment to lovingly hold something that you feel shame around. Do you hold any secrets? Any parts of your story that maybe are huge parts of your story, but you've never told anyone, or maybe you've told a couple people, but you keep them secret, you keep them safe? What do you feel in your body when you think about these things? Do you feel tenseness in your body? Let's breathe some oxygen into those spaces. Try to release some of that tension. You can give it up. You can offer it up. And when you look and think about this thing, how do you feel? Do you feel like it's something that you can't really share? Does it feel like something that makes you bad? No, it's just this. Is this just a feeling? Is this maybe one of those things that if you think about it, you know that it doesn't make you bad or anything like that, but it feels that way. It feels shamey. Okay? Now I want you to take a minute to think of the you that you were whenever this thing happened. Now how much have you grown since then? How far have you come since then? Is it possible? And even if this is something that doesn't necessarily logically need any sort of forgiveness, what would it feel like to forgive yourself? Do you need to make any sort of apology to yourself? How would it feel to say sorry? Have a little conversation with yourself, you and this person who was whenever this happened. Okay. Now, how can you pour love on this? How could you just pour like deep love and sweetness on this? Is there something hidden beneath all of this that this younger version of you is like crying out to be heard? Do they need to be told that it's okay? Do they need to be told that they are loved? That they are held? That they are seen? Can you make this space to love and see this part of you? Could you make this space to hold this part of you with tender care and bring it out of the shadows? How would it feel to bring this part of yourself back? What was the reason for hiding them? Did you let someone allow you to believe that this part of you was bad? And what if you were to just accept this part of yourself right back into the fold? Instead of pushing it down to some sad, dark little place where it can't be seen, what would it feel like to just accept this part of yourself right back into your heart? Put your hands over your heart and breathe. Can you feel your heart space expanding to make room for this part of yourself that has been hidden? This part of you that has been tucked away in a little corner, sad and alone, feeling like they're bad. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. You are welcome here. I love you. You are loved. You are held. It is safe here. It is safe to come back. It is safe to show yourself. You are good. And as this part of you is welcomed back into your heart, how does it feel? How does it feel in this space in your heart? Do you feel any sensations? Do you feel any colors, see any colors, hear any sounds? Just breathe into that feeling real deep right now. And let it radiate out around you. I want you to look in the eyes of the you that was. This part of yourself that's been hiding. I want you to look deeply into your own eyes. I want you to reach out. Hold your hands. What needs to be said? What needs to be done here? Do you need to embrace yourself? How do you need to love yourself right here in this moment? Hug them fiercely. Kiss their little heads. Tell them that it's all gonna be okay because you see them now. and you're not gonna hide anymore. That's okay. It's safe to come out into the open, and it's safe to express as a whole part of yourself once again. When you are done, hold their hand, stand up if you aren't already standing, and walk back into the woods, and bring them back through the woods with you, through the doorway, back into the darkness, back to the spot where you started. When you get to the part where you started, feel them fuse back into you. Take a couple moments to do whatever you need, and when you're ready, open your eyes up again. I was inspired to do this as an exercise after sharing something quite I just launched a new website that I'm really excited about just this morning, and in it I tell my story in a way that I've never told before, and I talk about an abortion that I had when I was 21, and that has been a secret that I have kept for so long. Like, some people know about it, obviously, right? But it's like, it was never anything that was ever part of my public story. There's still like family members who don't know about it, you know. It's just this like secret little pocket of shame that I held for so long. And you know, and I almost didn't this morning. It took a little bit of guts to hit that publish button, but I think it's just so important that we tell these stories, so I decided to just give her and go for it. And you know, the truth of the matter is that like shame breathes in darkness, and often when you shine a light on this thing that you feel such shame about, it's really nothing necessarily deserving of shame. You know, it's the keeping it a secret that keeps it something to be held in the darkness, you know. So I would encourage you, is there any way that whatever came up for you today, is there any way that you can bring it out of the darkness? Is there a trusted friend you could tell about it? Are you ready to allow it to just be part of your story and be fine with it? You know, what does it look like if this part of you is integrated again and is, you know, just has a seat at the table? Oftentimes we can lose parts of ourselves when traumatic things happen, right? Because we want to like bury and hide the trauma, but in doing so we like bury and hide key little shiny parts of ourselves at the same time. And what parts of you are caught in this shame that you've hidden? How would it feel to accept those and bring those back into your life again? This is a really interesting Valentine's Day. I'm excited because I love Valentine's Day, and also, you know, it is a 6-year, a lover's year, so it's very on theme. We've got a moon in Cancer, which is just like so sweet, so nurturing. I tend to look, especially with moon in Cancer, it's a really great time for integration. You know, we have all these feelings. Cancer time is a time to, you know, take these feelings and integrate them back within to our psyche, and just like make use of them a little bit. And maybe make use isn't even the right word, but you know, really be able to feel them and allow them to just like be what they are, and allow them to run through you and then be reborn, essentially. So I just think it's like a nice tender sweetness that on Valentine's Day we have a moon in Cancer. And at least where I am, super late into the night, the sun moves into Aquarius. And so this is going to be a really good time to, and no matter where you are, it's happening soon, right? So, this is, if you aren't like coupled up or don't like a romantic sort of Valentine's Day, this can be a really great time to just like be with the weirdos that you love, just be in your community in some way, perhaps even in a kind of vulnerable way, right? With this Cancer moon. And vulnerability isn't necessarily an Aquarius trait, right? Aquarius energy can be quite detached from emotions, but it's very community oriented and very like friend oriented, right? So how could we mix these two together and maybe like take the time to like bolster your friendships and really like value those key friendships that you have? And in doing that, maybe it is time to take a little bit of time for vulnerability and to share. And in sharing, often we strengthen friendships, And in a way that's just too perfect, we're coming right up on a conjunction of the cosmic lovers, Venus and Mars. And so in this moment right now, they're closing a cycle. And Mars is very active energy, where Venus is a lot, like much more receptive. Like with Venus, it's sort of about opening up to all of the wonderful possibilities of the earth realm. It's our capacity to receive. And with these two closing a cycle and about to open a new cycle, it just makes me think, what have you learned recently about how much you take action versus how much you stay open to the world? And it's interesting, Venus moves a little bit faster than Mars. And so it's kind of like she's leading a lot. And I've just been musing in my own mind about, of course we need to take the actions, and we have to go after what it is that we want in life, and we need to be the warrior and not be afraid, have courage, accept our quest and go for it. But then like so big a part of it is also being open too. We live in a co-creation with the universe. On one hand, we have such capacity for manifestation, but on the other hand, like, look around, the world is always speaking with you. It's a dialogue that is happening back and forth. And I'm just curious if you've learned any, if there's any lessons around those sorts of things that might be coming home lately. In Sagittarius, this could be about like big picture kind of stuff, trying to understand life, why we're here, some sort of higher learning, a yearning to know, to understand the big questions. This could have to do with our beliefs. This could have to do with the vision that like sets us on our quest in life. So that's what I have to say about that for the moment. I'm going to do some cards here. I don't really do tarot readings anymore, but I do like to do them in these settings just because it's it's nice to just like get the channel open, you know. As far as my session work, I do all astrology these days, but it's still nice to play around with, and is good for like stuff like this where I'm talking to a lot of people. So let's open this space up to spirit a little bit. What do the people watching this need to hear in this moment? What do they need to hear in this moment about the ways in which they need to tend to their heart? Okay. Six of Swords and Ace of Pentacles. This is the start of some sort of new journey. This could have to do with money, you know. This could have to do with like a physical house, something like that, something. And it could also have to do with like the sort of soul service that we're here, what we're how we are here to be of like service to the earth realm, essentially. You know, you're ready to start some sort of new journey, and it's possible that you could use some help, like from a professional or someone, you know, someone else to help you get there, right? Six of Swords, you know, it's about going to a new place, you know, and this could be very mental, right? Like you're ready to start some sort of new journey, you're ready to go on to new, better things, you know, but you could use some help in some way getting there, right? Like there's always well, not always, the imagery obviously shifts between cards, but like classically there's always a boatman in the Six of Swords. There's this sort of like mother-child figures, and they're off to somewhere new, but there is like someone helping them get there, right? So, you know, with the Ace of Pentacles, this makes me think like, do you need to hire a financial advisor? Perhaps. Are you ready to start like tending to perhaps like financial beliefs, financial wounds, limiting beliefs around money, that sort of thing? Could perhaps the next step just be consulting with someone who can help you a little bit? Yeah. Okay, now what do the folks now and in the future, right? Oh, okay. Apparently we weren't done with that question. Okay, again, I swear we got, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but we keep getting these together, right? We have the Six of Swords, and then we have the Eight of Cups. Both of these are cards of leaving something behind. When it comes to the Eight of Cups, you're emotionally kind of done and ready to sort of set off on a new adventure, and you don't necessarily know where you're headed all the time, but you know that it's time to move on in some sort of way. So these together means that like your mind and your heart are starting to sort of sync up, and you know, it's time to look forward, it's time to move on, essentially. So the Justice card, you know, strive for balance. How can you bring more harmony into your life? Perhaps you need to hold faith that like justice will be served in some sort of way. Maybe you don't necessarily need to stick around to see it happen. We got the Knight of Cups, which flipped out reversed. The Knight of Cups is the Grail Knight, you know? It is searching for something. It is on a mission, some sort of holy mission. And reversed makes me think, with all of these cards in sort of conjunction with each other, it makes me think perhaps you lost your way a little bit. Perhaps you were searching for this grail, for this magical thing, right? But you know, you didn't find it where you thought you were going to find it, and that's okay. It's okay to look ahead to the future and reassess, realign, right? Okay, what does everyone watching this now and in the future need to know about the martial sort of aspect here, the active movement towards what they want, their inner warrior? Queen of Swords, you know it already. I don't need to tell you anything, because you know what the answer is. This has been coming up. This has been coming up in previous readings too, right? This is about using your brains a little bit. You might have to be a little cold. Okay? You know, this is quite logical. It's quite straightforward, and you know, it may involve, I mean, with all of this, it's Queen of Swords is like classically a single woman, okay? But more importantly than that, you know, she's very rational and able to separate her mind from her heart a little bit. And so, if in context to the question asked, if you want to get where you want to get, you know, you got to use your brain. You gotta do the things that you know you gotta do, and yeah, pretty straightforward. Whatever it is, you know the answer already. It's my thoughts here. Okay, now what about the Venus aspect of this? The staying open to receive, the opening ourselves to abundance, to opportunities, to the wonder of life. Okay, Four of Wands. You've gotten to a certain point. There's been some sort of completion. Now is a good time to take a minute to celebrate that, okay? To look around at how far you've come, to take a moment to just be solid and be like, yay, okay, I did it. Take that moment for celebration. It's easy to let moments like these slide past, but take a moment to acknowledge it and have space for that. Page of Cups, you know, listen to the messages of your intuition. You know, and this is telling me too, especially in context with this question, you know, when you get those little thoughts that are like, oh, you should do this, or what about this? Like, maybe even just when you're walking and some little part of you is like, go this way. You know, what would it be like if for a week you just listened to them all, and instead of like rationalizing your way out of it, stayed open to it, and open to the idea of adventure, and to the idea that perhaps these little tiny intuitive pings have something for you, you know, and are leading you somewhere, even just as an experiment. What would that be like? Now we got the Nine of Wands here. With all of these cards, this feels like perhaps you've been through some sort of ordeal a little bit. You are wounded but not broken, perhaps. You know, you've got some scrapes, you've got some bruises, but you've come this far. Perhaps this has something to do with what you need to take a moment to celebrate. But stick to it. You're almost there. You're almost there. You've made it this far. You're scrappy. You're like, this picture is so scrappy. It's this like bandaged up little fox, like, hey, what's up? He's been through some shit, but he's got it on lock. Okay? Don't give up now, okay? Just take the time to acknowledge how far you've gone. Take the time to acknowledge that, like, whatever it was, it didn't kill you, okay? You're still kicking. You might have some scrapes, but that's fine. They'll heal. You can heal those, okay? You can. What does everybody watching this now in the future need to know about community? Okay, we'll stick with that. Interesting, another 9. Perhaps you have a lot of social anxiety around community. Perhaps you believe that if you actually showed who you were, people wouldn't like you, so you kind of hide your true self away, and then you find that, confirming your beliefs, people don't really like you. This isn't because this isn't because you're unlikable, okay? This is actually because, like, you are hiding, and on some deeper level, people can sort of tell perhaps that you are withholding or not being totally upfront or stuff like that. And the 9 of Swords in this, I'm getting like such a strong vibe. Just don't be afraid to express yourself. Don't be afraid to tell your story. Don't be afraid to say what you actually mean, because when you do these things, you'll find out that your fears were actually unwarranted. You'll find that when you are just honestly who you are and authentic, that people will actually like you. Not everyone, and that's fine. But, your people can't find you if you are hiding. They'll never be able to find you if you're hiding. And no matter what, whether people are just like not for you or love you, you're still going to have like a more authentic experience if you aren't just like hiding out of anxiety all of the time, right? You may have all sorts of fears that if you were to like share these things, if you were to open up, if you were to talk, that it would just be like some sort of tragic disaster. It won't. That's the thing about the 9 of Swords. It's very shadow monstery, right? You're in the dark, you're a little kid, you see the shadows, you're horrified that they're monsters. They're not monsters, they're just shadows. It's all gonna be okay. That feels like a great time to leave it. If you guys want to check out my website, which is brand new and shiny and sexy, and I fucking love it, go to www.truesidereal.com. I'll put it down below. Check it out. You can read more about my story if you want to, or you can see some of the new ways to work with me. I'm calling in people to work with me on more of a long-term basis, because readings are great and lovely, and we can find out all sorts of information using astrology, but what I'm really more interested in is being an ally to you on your journey of transformation. Okay, go to my website, read my story. I've been, I understand the dark places, and I want you to know that you are so much more than any of that. You are so powerful. your story is so much bigger than any of the secrets that you keep. And if you're ready to take some sort of next step in your life, if there's something that you know you gotta do, you could really just use some support to get it done, some accountability, some structure to help keep you on track, then you are the person that I am calling into my life to work with. So get in touch, check out my website. I hope that you all have a fabulous Valentine's Day and a fabulous week, and I will see you next week. Love you all.